Hey guys, it's Alyssa Rushton here, and I help you create magic and miracles every day in your life and raise your consciousness to the next level. And today we're taking a viewer's question about what the heck is 5D anyway? So I love to just dive right into this question because 5D is something that when you look into it, you're going to get a lot of different information. So this is my perspective on 5D, and I want to invite you to do your own research, find out what feels really true for you about this and really everything that you're researching and learning about right now, because we're at a time when you really don't need a guru, you don't need a leader to tell you what's true for you. There's so much information that you can sift through it and feel into your heart. But today I'm going to break this down and what 5D means to me, and then you can relate this back to your life. So first up, what the heck is 5D anyways? Well, dimensions in string theory are how we perceive our world. So the dimension that goes this way is the dimension of length, and then we have height. That's a two-dimensional world. So when you watch a movie, you're looking at a two-dimensional object. Now we also have the third dimension, which is depth. And again, when you watch a movie that's in 3D, you perceive that depth perception and it feels more realistic. So our third dimensional reality, this globe that we live in, when we think about what our 3D reality is, it's really based in this place of duality, this ego, this separation, that fear. I call it the winner-loser mentality, where someone has to win and someone has to lose. When you're living your life in that 3D place, you really are in that place of thinking that there's not a whole lot that is outside of the world that we can see here. And you're also probably really locked into that ego place. Now, I suspect if you're watching this video right now, you're definitely not there. But I know that for myself, I was in the 3D reality for a very long time. Now, one thing I want to remind you of and mention right now is that every dimension is a consciousness. It is not a place. Okay, so for example, if you looked at more what a 2D reality is, if I took an ant and I had a piece of paper on a table, and that ant was walking on the table and it saw the piece of paper, and I took that paper away and put it on a shelf, for example, that ant would say, "Oh my God, that paper vanished." But really, it's because the consciousness is so far above where that ant can see. So think about 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, and above as a consciousness level. It's not a place, okay? It's not a place you go. It's the consciousness that you're holding. And that's sort of my final point here, but I'm gonna bring it up right from the very beginning and end right there, is that 3D, 4D, 5D is not a place, it's a consciousness that you're holding. So back to 3D, most people come into life as that 3D place, and they have to grow in consciousness and expand in order to get into that fourth level of dimension. Now, I have a ring drawn around the globe here because that fourth level of dimension is your emotional state. It's where you're tapping into the heart. You are really diving into your emotional body. You're doing a lot of healing. And it's really interesting because, when people talk about 5D and above, and they're in that, they're saying a lot of things like, "Oh, well, we're going to make a split as a world, and these 3D folks are going to be over here, and these 5D folks are going to be over here." One thing to bear in mind is that's a very three-dimensional, separation-based mindset. Okay, so if you're thinking those sort of thoughts of like, I'm above these people, or they're not as smart as me, or we're gonna break off somehow, that really tells you that you're in more that fourth dimensional space. Because in the fourth dimension, we're expanding the heart, we're opening that heart, and we're still clearing some of that ego stuff that's going on. And it's really easy for us to drift back into separation and I'm better than they are, or they're not as good, or they haven't done the work. And so that's really the fourth dimension. It's working through your emotional body, cleaning up yourself on a cellular level. Just a side note, any of you who've ever suffered from addictions, when we clear addictions on the multi-dimensional level, it actually no longer lives in your energy body. But someone who's had an addiction and they clear it on just one dimension, they're usually the folks that have to go to rehab, and they have to, go to the meetings and say, I'm an alcoholic, or I'm a drug addict, or whatever it is, because they haven't cleared it from their full multi-dimensional field, right? Their quantum field. So as you're clearing out your emotions, something that you want to be mindful of is clearing out things from the cellular level, from the DNA level. They might not even be yours, right? What's coming up for you right now might have been passed down from generation to generation. It just is something that is got implanted in your DNA. So that's what the fourth dimension is all about. Healing up all parts of you so that you can pull your consciousness up even farther into that feeling of being connected to all. Fifth dimensional consciousness is that love-based, empowerment-based, divine-based consciousness. It's that place where you're not seeing your brothers and sisters as separate. I was actually on the beach yesterday, and a man came up and he was talking about how, people were not capable of awakening. And that consciousness level actually in quantum physics locks people into that reality. So in the fifth dimension and above, one of the ways you know that you're there is you're seeing all people as capable, and you're seeing everything with a sense of forgiveness and love, and you're inviting it to uplift. Just by your consciousness alone, you will see shifts in reality. So the fifth dimension, again, is a consciousness base. You don't have a separate world. There is no, this is why I have these two worlds. There is no world stepping apart or splitting apart. However, when you shift up in consciousness levels, it might feel like you're in a different reality. It might feel like your world is very different. You're just experiencing things from a different consciousness state. You're holding a different vibration. And so therefore, things are actually shifting and changing around you. You can create very quickly. You can manifest very quickly in that fourth and fifth dimension. And in the fourth dimension, we have a lot of counter manifesting. We counter manifest what we don't want. And in the fifth dimension, you get a little more mindful to manifest what you do want instead. So in the fifth dimension, I do want to point out that you are starting to lose interest in that material stuff, in the things that you always thought that were really important, or the things that you thought made you successful. You actually start to see through the illusion of that, and you lose interest in obtaining it. Now, that's not to say that you won't have it. You'll probably have more stuff than ever, or more abundance than ever. However, you're not attached to it, and you don't feel pain if you don't have something. There's a release, if you will, of having the material stuff, because you actually know that it's not really all of that important anymore, and you sort of lose the attraction to it. But in losing the attraction to something, it comes very swiftly to you because you don't have any resistance to it. So the fifth dimension, it's not a place you go, it's a consciousness that you hold. As you move up in the dimensions, you move up in consciousness. You can see more things all at once. You can feel more things all at once. This is the final note that I have for you. As you're moving up in consciousness, one of the things that I think is very commonly talked about in the spiritual realms is that it's all rainbows and unicorns. And I'm here to say that I love rainbows, I love unicorns, but when you get more conscious and when you are able to hold more consciousness, you actually feel more than ever before. You're actually aware of more pain and more pleasure than before. So it's not all unicorns and rainbows, and your life will work more differently for you. It will be more like a more feeling of a magicness in your life and synchronicities and all of these amazing things. However, that's not to say that there's no work involved. You still do have to work at holding that consciousness. And in the next video, we're going to talk about how do you get to the fifth dimensions. And then the video after that, we're going to talk about how you stay there. Because just like anything, you have a choice of holding your place or moving forward or reversing. And it is work to keep your vibrational place, especially during the hard times. That's when you have to work the most at it. And right now is that beautiful opportunity to be expanding your consciousness even more. So I'm so excited that you're here for this video, and be sure to watch our other videos about how to get to 5D consciousness, what you might need to clear out in order to get there, and then what you have to do to keep it. If you want some more support, be sure to look down below this video and check out the links. We've got some really cool resources for you, our Magic and Miracles Inner Circle, and also our course Reality by Divine Design. I hope you love this video. Be sure to like it and share it with your friends, and pop a comment down below and tell me what you're experiencing right now. Tell me what level of reality you feel like you're most in. I'll tell you personally, and of course there's so many other dimensions that we can be in. And I want to leave you with this. I was talking to somebody the other day who said that they go into the fifth dimension and above, and they're in this meditative state, and that's where they are, and they meet up with all their friends in meditation. And here's the key. The goal for you is to bring down that level of consciousness into your daily life. Yeah, we can all get there in meditation, but can you do it walking around? Can you do it in the midst of a crisis? Can you do it in the midst of a really stressful day? Can you do it in the midst of too much on your plate? Can you do it in the midst of kids, knocking down your door trying to get your attention? That's when you know that your consciousness has expanded. Yes, do we love meditation? Yes, this is a great way to access that bigger level of consciousness. Absolutely. But it's your job and it's your work to bring that consciousness down and hold it on a daily basis. Okay, I love you so much. Thank you for being here on the planet at this time. You are truly incredible, and this planet needs you now more than ever. Have a great day, and bye for now.